Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, and thank you again for watching one of these great life-changing and transformational videos. The purpose of these videos is to show you that our lives can change in an instant when we seek the right help, and our lives can literally go from being in a really bad place to something quite amazing when we, like I said, when we seek the right help. So today I've want to introduce another great, amazing individual who really has only done a very short period of time with me, but has managed to transform herself in a really short period of time. And we're going to do a little video now to find out a little bit more information about this person and her journey. So let's bring in Mary. So hello Mary, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. And you,
Great,
Steve?
I'm very well, thank you. So I've only met Mary recently through a business network that I joined just before Christmas. And so Mary's been kind enough to give up her afternoon to tell us a little bit about herself, where she is, and how the work that we've done has transformed her and her life. So let's find out a little bit about you, Mary. So tell us, who are you? What do you do? What have you done, and what are you doing now?
So my name's Mary. I'm an independent estate agent based in the Chelmsford area. I've been in estate agency for about 10 years now, and I recently decided to go independent last year. Okay,
great. So when you say independent, what makes you different from the estate agents that were out there, like the main high street brands, or what makes you different and why are you unique?
Yep, so it is just me that runs the business. So my USP, I think, is that I'm there from valuation to completion. I offer high-end marketing, including drone footage and drone videos, as well as personal walkthroughs. I think what makes me different is I'm a one point of contact. I can be very flexible with evening and weekend appointments, and I do the best marketing that is currently available.
Great, that's good. So, and you get a lot of success with that. Yeah, brilliant. So, you said you've always worked in. Did you work for a big company before, and then decide? You know, what made you decide to go out on your own?
Yes, I work for corporate and independent agents. I worked for a corporate for the majority of my career. I went to what I thought was an independent, and it wasn't quite what I thought it would be, and was probably not a very, very good time for me in my life. It made me a lot worse, so I had to get out, and that kind of pushed me to go the independent route, really. Yeah, and would you say independent route?
Yeah. And so would you say that's one of the best decisions you've made?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. The better one. Yeah, definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah, and your clients that you've done work for are happy with your services as well.
Yeah, my clients are really happy. I recently just achieved a sale on a property that had been on the market for 6 months previously with another estate agent. Just went in, enhanced the marketing, and we sold it within just over 4 weeks.
Wow. So anybody that's thinking about selling a house, there's proof that if you get someone specific to do the work for you rather than some of these big groups, not to say that the big groups don't do the job, but sometimes we need someone who's going to specifically look after you. So that's a really important thing. So I guess really, have you got a website? Is there a website? Let's tell them about your website. What's your website?
So my website is marybug.exp.uk.com.
Okay, and do you have houses and that on there, or is it just really a point of contact?
No, so every house that I have available is listed on the website, as well as obviously the property portals. Yeah. So yeah, everything you need is on my website.
And do you cover rentals at all as well?
Yep, I do lettings also.
Oh, there you go. So if you're looking for a rent, then maybe go and check Mary's website out, marybug.exp.co.uk.
.exp.uk.com.
Sorry, my mistake.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So I guess we should really move on to why we ended up doing our work together. Because obviously we've been going to the networking groups. There's lots of people there. So I guess my first question is what was actually your problems, or what were the symptoms you were having in life? Where were you struggling? What were the specific pain points, and where was it affecting you?
So I think for me, my biggest thing that has been happening since I was quite young is my depression.
Yeah.
And that had a big impact on me mentally and physically, and how I behaved, if I was having a good day or a bad day.
Yeah. And that's happened all throughout, since when?
Since I was about 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a long time. Is there anything else that was affecting you or other areas of your life? Motivation, confidence, or anything?
Yeah, my confidence was really, really knocked. A few weeks ago, I wouldn't have even been able to film this video.
Yeah.
And it's made a huge difference. So yeah, my confidence and my depression and anxiety as well, I think, are probably the key factors.
Yeah, great. So they were the problems that you had. Yeah, initially. So I always say, how did you find out about me, and what made you come and see me? But obviously you found out about me because obviously I'm in the networking group and I tell people what I do and how I do it. So I'm going to say, what was your first reaction when I obviously I started coming along, I'm new to the room, and I'm telling everybody what I can do. What was your first response to it, you know? And
honestly, I thought it was a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought, how can you take something away that's been there, that's indented? And I thought it was a load of crap, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
A lot of people do, and they do. So what made you come and see me? There must have been a reason then for you to make a defining moment, because if you're thinking, oh, this is a load of old nonsense, this is crap, this is, you know, to then all of a sudden go, hang on a minute, what was that change? What was the thing that made
I think the first thing that kind of got me wondering a little bit is I spoke to you about my dairy intolerance, and you explained some things to me, and I went away that day and I thought to myself, oh my God, that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
But obviously I still wasn't 100% convinced. And then obviously as a networking group has kind of moved on and moved forward and people have worked with you, you did a little presentation with one of the other members of our group, and she said something and I thought to myself, oh my God, this is me, this is where I am, I need to go and speak to him and just see if he can help me, really. Yeah,
great. So that when I did that, because what I basically did is I had one of the people there who was in the networking group come out and sit down. We did a 10-minute presentation. It really was more about her talking about her experiences, what she'd gained from working with me, what she'd healed, how she'd been able to change her life very, very, very quickly as well. And she'd had a whole history of stuff, and she was very brave in doing that. So it was basically having that made it click, and you go, okay, great. Well, this is one of the reasons why I do these videos as well, so people watch and go, hang on a minute, I can, because, you know, which leads on to the next question is, before coming to see me, did you actually go and see other therapists? Did you try other therapies, any other personal development, or did you try anything? Because in a lot of people that I work with have done that, they realise it doesn't really work because they're just trying to reframe a problem, which is like lying to yourself, really. I have a problem, but if I think about it in a different way, and if I have a positive mindset and a positive thinking, then all of a sudden, then that's okay. But you're not, you've got a problem and you're just reframing it, you know, and talking about it is just expending the energy. It doesn't actually deal with the problem. So which is why I'm like, well, shall I ask you, did you try anything else?
Yeah, so when I first started with my depression, I actually nearly died at the age of 14, trying to commit suicide. I'm very fortunate that I didn't die. And I got put in counselling, and I wasn't interested. You know, I was 14 years old, and then as I got older, I've explored lots of different methods of counselling. And I think, as I mentioned to you, Steve, it's like, oh, look at where you are now, look at what you've done, you've been through this rubbish, but actually look how strong you are now. But actually the what I was perceiving was just trying to bury it and just constantly masking over again and again and again all the problems that were actually there. So even though I thought it was great, I was still suffering with the depression and the bad days, and things would happen, you know, that would make me go into a really, really bad place. And it's because it's just been masked over all this time. So I just think counselling is fantastic for some people, but it's just one of them things where it's not actually finding the root cause of that problem.
The root cause, yeah, exactly. So you tried some other stuff, and so I guess having done that, what made you to decide to work with me, really? Because the reason it's hard, because I say because we are going to do some more sessions together with some other stuff that's come up, but what's decided you to work with me after that first session, and more importantly, what did you learn? So
I think what's made me decide to work with you is, this is going to sound really, really stupid and people may not believe me, but honestly, it's just, I've even spoken to family and friends about this, and it's just something I can't explain. So when I first come to Steve and we went through the initial bits and everything, and then we started doing what he does. And I was laying there and he asked me a question, and all of a sudden I just felt this horrible feeling in my stomach, and it just like raised completely, and I was in absolute tears, and it was a really, really emotional point in my life that I had to go back to. And then Steve did what he does, which is magic, genuinely is magic, and that feeling just completely and utterly disappeared. And there was the next morning something had happened which would normally trigger me back to that feeling that I was the night before, and I was actually okay. You know, I felt I didn't have that reaction that I had previously before.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the best thing. And like everything Steve talks you through, if you actually analyse it, it makes a lot of sense. And even now, like just with silly little things, I'm like, oh yeah, but if you think about it like the way Steve explains it, things make a lot more sense.
Makes a lot more sense, yeah. Because unfortunately, because our neocortex, or our frontal lobe of our brain, is our creative brain, what we tend to do is when we observe things, or when we have a feeling, or when we have an experience, or when we meet other people, we basically will do a judgment and make stuff up and believe. And the problem is if we believe the stuff that we make up, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's what we're generally doing all of the time. And if we're aware of that, we can then do something about that and stop ourselves from having those problems. And like I said, if you look at things, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yeah. Which
was, I think, Wayne Dyer it's a great statement, but it's actually so much truth in that. So it is important, because we're actually then living in the real world and not in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Even though we think we're living in a real world, we're actually causing ourselves loads of problems. But so I guess the next question I want to ask you is the 3 benefits you've experienced. So since this one session, we've had this amazing session, which is why we're here today, because it's been a life changer for you, really. You said you felt a different person, but so far in that, what are the 3 benefits?
I think the main benefit for me is my confidence. Obviously, linking it back to my estate agency business, I do a lot of personal walkthrough videos, which means being on camera quite a lot. And I used to dread it, and I used to like get really anxious and everything. And even my photographer that I work with that does it all for me, even he's noticed a change in my confidence. I feel a lot more balanced. I don't feel so like up and down all the time. Yeah. And I think I just...
Well, like that bipolar depression type
thing.
Having the good days, bad days.
Yeah, I'm more on an even keel now.
Yeah.
It's made a massive difference in my family life just because I am on that even keel. So, you know, I'm not having to go at the kids as much. I'm not having to go at my husband, you know, when things they do that frustrate you.
You're not reacting.
I'm not reacting as bad as I used to be. So yeah, it's made a massive difference in my family life, my confidence and my anxiety.
Yeah, so you're no longer feeling anxious, and I mean, you're probably going to get a little bit.
Yeah, I still feel a little bit anxious, but nothing like I did before where I was literally dreading doing it. And I think if you watch the marketing videos I do, and you watch like the first few to the ones I've done recently, you can actually see...
You can see the difference.
You can see the difference in my persona.
Yeah.
Just through, obviously, having that better confidence.
Well, I've noticed that when the way you're conducting yourself at the networking group, when you stand up and do your presentation to the room, after when you've done that session with me, I obviously was watching you, and you could instantly see that you were just so much more confident and relaxed in your space, and you was just like, this is Mary's here, you know, like without thinking, having that anxiety of thinking of judgment and being attacked. So I sort of noticed that as well. So that's great. Is there any other areas in your life where it's benefiting you? You're being more productive in what you're doing, or...?
I'm definitely getting more organised, and organisation is not my best skill.
Forte.
Even though I am a business owner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely made me more productive, because obviously I'm not spending so much time worrying about things. I can get things done a bit quicker and more done as well.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping so much better. Like I'm actually sleeping properly at night. Even though I was sleeping, I don't feel like I was sleeping, if that makes sense.
I did say you would get it.
Yeah.
I did tell you that.
Honestly, I slept like a baby the night after. But yeah, I'm sleeping a lot better. I feel like I'm sleeping, whereas before I didn't feel like I'd slept for the night. It's just overall, it's just had a massive impact on me and everything.
Positively.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, great. So So I was going to say, what's life like for you right now, and what's changed for you? And I think you've nailed that. Really, it's had a massive impact in your life. Just in that one session, it's changed your life. You're in a positive place. You're sleeping better.
Yeah.
You're having less. You're shouting at the kids less, or reacting negatively to your family.
Makes me sound like such a bad mum.
I know it doesn't. No, you're not. But do you know, and because everybody's in it.
Yeah.
You know, you're no different to any other people that I've, I used to be the same when in my family, when I had my girls and stuff, so I think we all are like that until we become aware of it, and we all think we're really bad, but we're not. We're just coping and doing the best we can. But the thing is that you've done something about it to change it, and it's worked for you, and where a lot of people still tend to not want to make that decision or make that choice for whatever reason. But so what surprised you the most and what's made you the happiest?
I think what surprised me the most was that feeling that I got the first thing we did. That's something that's stayed with me since I was very little, and a long time, and I think it's the best thing. A few family issues made me realise that actually, there's only so much you can do, and it's just made me feel a lot more better in myself.
You say better in yourself, is it like more you value yourself more self-worth, or?
Yeah, I definitely do. When you're seeking someone's approval for such a long time, and then like I've come to see you and realised that actually I don't need their approval. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of, but it's just having these things hanging over you, even though you don't know they're hanging over you, and then them disappearing, you actually realise that they were hanging over you, and you feel a lot better for it. So
and you don't actually realise how much they're affecting you either, do you?
Don't.
Because it becomes like part of your identity. You go through life like with a big rucksack of having all these events and people, and like you said, trying to be validated, and we just think that's normal, but it's not until you take it away you realise how much that's actually affecting your life and your decisions that you make,
especially when it's happened when you're like really young as well. Like the first incident was probably when I was around 5, and it's kind of like, how does that even still affect me now? It was such a long time ago, but actually going through it with you, it's gone. It's such a relief.
Yes.
That you didn't know could happen, because you don't think that's going to affect you anymore.
Yeah. I think we all make the mistakes that we think that once something's happened and it's gone, that it's healed and it's gone. But we don't. We store this information up inside of us, and we never. This is my issue with, I've just moved on and let that go. I've moved on from that. And you can convince yourself as much as you can that you think you have, because you're not really in the thoughts and the feelings of it. But then when you come and do this work, you realise you haven't let it go.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing for me, because I thought, I've dealt with that. I mean, I actually hadn't. It took me years.
I think that's where like the counselling comes in, because obviously you go back to that and you talk about it and it's masked over.
Yeah.
So you think you're okay, then obviously you come and see you, and it's like, oh God,
Yeah.
actually, it's still been sitting there for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So that's good. So life's been it's a real positive life change for you just in one session for you. That's brilliant. So in 3 words, how would you describe your experience? How would you describe it?
I'll give you 2 words.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely mind-blowing. Like, honestly, I can't believe spending like 2.5 hours with you, the massive change it's had on me, and I'm looking forward to obviously carrying it on and see how it can change even more.
Yeah, we'll do. As long as we, there's also a law of attraction element that comes in, and I know people think it's a lot of woo and it's a lot of but I've seen it happen so many times that when we heal these events that happen in our past, magical things do happen in our life. And I want to, obviously, I think you're an absolute. So anybody that comes and does this, I admire them 100%. I went through hell and back fixing myself from the horrendous stuff that had happened to me throughout my life. So I admire anybody that's willing to go there. But I also think that when you do that, the universe or whatever this place does reward you for it. So only good things are going to come out of it. And obviously I'd love to see you do so well, because I think you've worked really hard, and I think anybody that's prepared to do the work deserves it. So hopefully as we move forward, your life will open up, new doors and opportunities will work for you, and who knows where it's going to go for you. You never know. You might be a superstar in the estate agency world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so that's great. So well, that's great that it's mind blowing and so life changing for you. And so I guess if you can, I'll ask you one more question. If you were to recommend a friend, what would you say, and what would you say to them?
I think I'd say to them, honestly, 100%, give it a go. Like, it's one of the best things I've ever done, and I wish I met Steve 5, 6, 7 years ago. It is phenomenal, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've done just in them few hours.
Yeah, well, it makes a huge difference.
It does. It's made a massive difference to me.
Yeah, brilliant. So. Excellent. Okay, so I guess that's all the questions I want to ask. Is there anything that you want to add about what you do or about what we've done? Is there anything I've missed out, or are you okay? Or is there anything you want to tell them that are watching? No,
just to reiterate, really, if you're suffering with anything like mental health, it's a massive thing. And you know, it is hard, and there is a lot of stuff people go through, and it can be a really, really cruel world. And honestly, have a chat with Steve, because you won't regret it.
Yeah.
You honestly won't regret it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's what I do. I love what I do, because you know, once it's fixed, it doesn't come back either, and that's the other thing which is really great. You know, it's once we've actually solved the problem's gone forever and it never comes back. And I think some people find that difficult. Well, if I come and see you, how do I know it's gone? And is it going to go? Is it going to? Because I have a lot of people that say to me, "Well, how do I know it's not going to come back?" Well, you know, it's
it's one of them things that you just have to do, and you know, you have to do it, and you will realise. Because I was in a similar situation 6 weeks ago, and I bit the bullet, and I'm glad I did. Yeah, no, great. So that's fantastic. So I want to thank Mary ever so much for coming along today and just telling us and you of the experience that she went through and doing the work with me. I wish Mary all the best in her estate agency businesses. So go to marybug.exp.uk.com. Yeah, that's right. That's it. So go and see Mary if you're looking to sell your house or rent, probably go to Mary. So I want to thank you again, Mary. Thanks ever so much for giving up your time. It was I'm really grateful. So if you want to help, if you need help or require help with any of the stuff that we've been talking about, mental health issues, business decisions, relationship problems, if you've had anything that's really traumatised you, if you've been labelled with PTSD, ADHD, whatever, please reach out to me, because I will be able to find what's caused that, and I will be able to heal that for you. So you can go to my website, which is www.healingthemind.co.uk. You can go and listen to all the testimonials. Don't take it from me, but take it from people like Mary and the other people that have worked with me. So I just want to say thanks ever so much again for watching these great life-changing videos, and hopefully it inspires you to take the right action and to change your life if you're not in the best place. So once again, thanks again for watching. My name's Stephen Jakes. This has been Mary Banks. So say bye-bye, Mary. Bye. See ya, and we'll see you in the next of these great videos. Ciao for now. Bye.